The X-Wing is undoubtedly the most iconic ship in the New Republic Navy, and though officially classified as a fighter, its unique blend of speed, firepower, and durability allows it to excel at attacking capital ships when compared to bombers, while still being able to hold its own in a dogfight next to those A-Wings. What's up, you guys? I'm not amazing, I'm just mediocre, and today I've got a pair of X-Wing loadouts for you today. A dogfighting loadout for the first half of the game, and a capital ship loadout for the second half of the game. Let's take a look at that first loadout. We're going to be taking ion cannons for the primaries, both to disable enemy starfighters, as well as strip the shields off the enemy cruisers once we get into the attack phase. For my auxiliaries, I'm going to be taking some barrage rockets on my left side, and some concussion missiles in my right side. And this is going to give me that ability to mop up these starfighters that I have actually disabled with my ion damage, or actually, follow up with some hull damage once I get to the attack phase and I've stripped the shields off of those cruisers. For the countermeasures, taking particle burst. For the hull, I'm going to take the deflector hull, and for the shield, I'm going to take the resonant shield. The resonant shield gives me that extra laser charge when I have full shields and no shield decay, and the deflector hull kind of balances out the negative from the resonant shield. Then for the engines, I'm going to take the jet engines. I used to actually very much dislike this jet engine until I figured out how to dead drift. It's actually a huge part of this kit, and knowing how to abuse that jet engine is going to be the first thing we discuss about this loadout. You see, the jet engine actually doubles the rate your boost meter charges, yet makes you use that meter 2.5 times faster than normal, so if you're just boosting in straight lines, it's really ineffective. If you want to make the best use of the jet engine, what you're going to want to do is chain a bunch of dead drifts together. If you don't know what dead drifts are, all you have to do is charge up your boost meter and then switch your power over to a different system. And then you're going to tap the boost just enough to get above 200 speed. That's what you're looking at. Then as soon as you're above 200 speed, you're going to get into a drift. Let that drift go until you've gone just back about down to 200. Get your speed back up to as fast as possible. And trying to keep your speed constantly above 200 while you're chaining these drifts together. The higher your speed, the more momentum you're carrying into your drifts. And as you can see here, I'm able to maintain a constant boost level of speed while overcharging my shields and my lasers at the same time. It cannot be understated how powerful it is to start to master dead drifting and chaining those dead drifts together as you're moving across the battlefield. With these ion cannons, I'm specifically looking for those defenders first. They fall extremely fast to ion cannons. And then after that, I'm looking to hit any other targets that are close by. Bombers, TIE fighters, but definitely looking out for the defenders first. And then after we get that initial flip, we're into the assault phase. I can go immediately to assaulting the cruisers and stripping their shields with my ion cannons instead of having to fly all the way back to my flagship and swap out for a different build that might have an ion torpedo. Now, if one of your friendly players does have an ion torpedo, then you can coordinate. One of you can assault one cruiser, the other can assault the other cruiser. And that's actually what happened in this game unintentionally. I was over here ripping the shields off Charlie. Meanwhile, somebody took advantage of that and torpedoed the shields on Delta, and within a flash they had no shields left on their cruisers. Now, this is also my preferred loadout for defense. Like I said, this is really good for dogfighting, taking out those defenders, which are right now really powerful for assault phase and taking on enemy capital ships. I'm going to be making a different video with some defender loadouts, but that'll be a separate topic. Getting back into the X-Wing, This loadout by itself is pretty awesome, and you could take it all the way to the end, but I have another loadout that I prefer to switch into with weapons much more capable of destroying the hull on the enemy flagships. We're taking primary burst cannons in order to wreak maximum DPS. I'm going to take a boost extension kit in my left auxiliary, and then I'm going to take the concussion missiles in the right auxiliary. We're taking those missiles instead of the torpedoes so that we can dumbfire them at our targets instead of having to wait for the lock-on. It gives you much more freedom in when you can attack your targets. Now, of course, for those countermeasures, you should be taking the particle burst. It is the single best countermeasure in the game, but the hull is a little bit more up to you. If you want to feel a little bit tankier in your X-Wing, you can take that deflector hull to give you more max shields. Or if you want to feel a little bit stealthier, sneakier about your attack runs, you can take that reflect hull, which gives you stealth when you're 1,500 meters away from your enemies. The hull doesn't really matter because you're trying to rely on your shields as much as possible when flying the X-Wing. And then what you're going to be doing is trying to abuse the dead drifting that you have access to with your jet engine, and the boost extension kit is going to help you out with that. So when you're doing your attack run, you're actually shooting at your target. You should have your power into engine. You should be charging up your boost meter while you're firing your lasers. And then as you're peeling away and you're about to come around for your second pass, that's when you put the power back into your lasers and you actually go ahead and pull around, do a nice 360, come at the target from a slightly different angle and lay in some more damage. And it's basically an easy rinse and repeat here. Now, as far as getting these nice, easy, smooth circles when you're dead drifting, it's about constantly double tapping that boost. You can see it on my screen. I go boost, drift, boost, drift, and constantly doing those slight adjustments with your cone, boost in the direction of your nose, and then turning a little bit more. It's just these slight adjustments. It's like drawing a bunch of straight lines to get a little bit more of a pentagon, hexagon, octagon type of shape instead of an actual circle that you might get when you were flying without that. And essentially what you're going to do is just non-stop flying passes back and forth across these cruisers. With the reflect hull that I've chosen, I've actually managed to stay relatively off the radar, not going to attack that much. And pretty soon you're going to be at the Star Destroyer, where of course your first targets should be the shield generators. And you're going to be actually be intending to make a couple passes on these. So just like before, you're firing those lasers, charging up your engines, and then doing those drifts all around the Star Destroyer in order to make another pass on that shield generator. You can get this in 2, but it might take 3. And this is where the boost extension kit can really come in handy, giving you that extra engine power. So you can put your power back into your shields, get some of that health back instead of having to put the power back into the engines or back into the lasers. It just gives you a lot more freedom to mess with your power systems, with your dead drifting, overcharge different systems, not have to worry about those engines as much, and gives you a lot of power to do many passes at the enemy Star Destroyer. Of course, target priorities: once both shield generators are down, you should take down the power systems, and then it's a matter of finding those critical hit spots on the hull. There's those shiny little blue cracks, and they fall extremely fast to the fire of the burst cannons. Takes maybe only 1 or 2 shots to take out those cracks. And if you're using this dead drifting, your boost extension kit, your laser charges, I love dead drifting in particular for finding those cracks and being able to fly all around the Star Destroyer, being able to see all different angles of it and quickly find those crit spots and get rid of that Star Destroyer before the enemy even knows what's happened. I hope you guys learned something from watching this video. If you did, drop a like on it. And if you're interested in learning how to play like the pros, click the video you see on your screen right now. It's the best tips and tricks that I learned for watching Pro Squadrons players compete in the Calrissian Cup. Hope to see you in that video. In the meantime, I'm not amazing, I'm just mediocre, and I'm out.